What's up, everybody? It's Dynasty Mirror Search for a Guru. Let's get some more people in the chat room. But a lot of people have been wanting me to speak on the recent, I guess, coronation of a Chinese man in northern Nigeria as a chief. A lot of people are upset. A lot of people are outraged. Should Black people be outraged at the Chinese man being made a chief in northern Nigeria? Now, everybody knows myself. I've been coronated as a prince um, in Nigeria myself. So that's why, a lot of people have been sending this article my way. But this is how I feel about the situation. It's like we could be mad, but we have to look at reality. Until Black people all over the diaspora, I mean, we're the most educated. We have this $1 trillion spending power, but we spend it on bullshit. Um, so until we take what we've learned here in the West, the amount of resources we have, the amount of wealth we have, until we take that, put our resources together, and come to the continent as a unified front, situations like this are going to continue to happen. Again, if you look at what the Chinese are doing in Africa, and I don't agree with it, I think it's in regards to Africans, it's not in the best interest of Africans. Yes, they are building infrastructure, but until the diaspora puts their resources together, okay, and offers a solution to the Chinese issue, situations like this are going to continue to happen, myself included. I mean, you got to think about it. You got Nigerians who are bragging about their Harvard degree. You know, you got Africans who are on the top, are on part of the development team of NASA. You have Nigerians. I think there's a Nigerian guy who's the #1 robotic engineer on the planet, but he's here in America or in the UK. You got Nigerians bragging about Nigerians taking over the UFC. UFC is a non-Black owned corporation. You got Nigerians bragging about, the Nigerian basketball player who's Greek, the Greek freak that plays for the Milwaukee Bucks. But none of this is a win for Nigeria. So the same way the Chinese are building up the infrastructure of Africa, Black people, Nigerians, Africans in general, who are complaining about the Chinese building up the infrastructure of Africa, you're steadily building up the infrastructure of America. I mean, let's just keep it real. Let's just keep it real. We are to America what the Chinese are to Africa. We brag about all these degrees and jobs and positions in non-Black owned corporations here in America. We continue to build up the Western infrastructure. So you leave Africa, or you're a Black person here in America, you complain about the injustice and the racism. But as Brother Obadiah Cabone told me, which made all the sense in the world, I couldn't disagree with him. He says we do all this complaining. We come to the West, the same people that sent their CIA, FBI hitmen, destabilized our country, puts up and pays for our puppet leaders. We come to these same places, these same countries, France, the UK, America. We get jobs, myself included. all part of the problem, myself included. We get jobs. We build up the Western infrastructure. They pay us good salaries to continue to build up the Western infrastructure. They take taxes out of our checks. Then the West takes a portion of these taxes, which help in continuing the building of our infrastructure, assist in the building of our infrastructure. They take a portion of those taxes, they put it in their war chest, and that's those same taxes that they put in their war chest, they then distribute amongst these African puppet leaders. But then we want to brag about our salaries and, our trinkets we get, our positions we have, our Harvard degree. Right now, I read a story the other day. Black women are the most highly educated, I think, demographic here in America, but also have the highest amount of debt. So we build up their infrastructure. We go into debt to build up their infrastructure. They collect on that debt. You can't get out of student loans. Part of that debt that's collected, trust me, goes into a war chest somewhere. Trust me. And then that money goes to the same African puppet leaders. So we all are playing a role in the destabilization of Africa, and we all play a role in this Chinese man becoming a chief in Africa. Because again, until we take what we've learned, our resources to Africa and actually compete with the Chinese, situations like this are going to continue to happen. I'm telling you. And then you have the other section of Africans who are fake outrage that don't even respect African customs. Like, why are you upset? You're upset at this Chinese man becoming a chief. But damn it, just last year, you were celebrating Meghan fucking Markle. You have more respect for European nobility than you do your own African nobility. You celebrate the queen or princess of duchess, whatever the hell you want to call it. But you don't respect your own African customs and traditions. You don't follow your own traditional religion. Instead, you want to call yourself a Christian or Muslim. I mean, that's what we're dealing with here. So you have that section. Shout out to everybody for super chats. And even when somebody just said in the chat room, Dennis, I thought you said the Chinese don't have a foothold in Nigeria like they do other African countries. They still don't. Even with this, the Chinese are not in Nigeria like they are other places on the continent. Like I said, Senegal, out of all the countries I've been to, Senegal and Nigeria by far are still the blackest countries in regards to ownership, in regards to major manufacturing out of all the countries of Africa I've been to. Because you got countries like Kenya, Uganda, South Africa, Cote Cote d'Ivoire. You got countries like that where Lebanese and Chinese whites control pretty much everything. So places like Nigeria and Senegal, it's not that bad. Brian Gibson says in northern Nigeria, there is an Igbo, Yoruba, Libyan, Yemeni chief in the north. What it means, they represent the various communities in that area, hence the chief title, fake outrage. And see, and this is the thing, Black American. If you're so concerned, listen, Black American, this could be you. I'm an example. This could be us. We come together, you go to Nigeria, you say, these are the resources that we can offer. This is what we bring to the table. And of course, there's going to be a representative out of our group who's going to be made a chief to represent our best interests and be a bridge between the Black American community, Lola Bowani, and be a bridge between the Black American community and the people of northern Nigeria, which are primarily Hausa Fulani. That's why we can't be here outraged in America, because a lot of us don't see outside of America. On the show yesterday, it's you have to have an Africa plan for 2020. I'm telling you, you're putting all your marbles, or putting all your eggs in the basket of America. You're gonna be disappointed. Not just Nigeria, anywhere. Again, what are you bringing to the table? Mowa Dada, Lola, Esu, Ashe. That's all I'm saying. And that's the only issue I have with the ADOS. Yes, America has a debt they owe to descendants of enslaved Africans. But what is the end game? And if your end game here is to be here in America and continue this Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde relationship with white supremacy, with racism, that plan is not going to work out. Again, I'm not saying you got to renounce your citizenship. You got to just completely leave America. You can if you want to. Some people are doing, a lot of people are doing it. If you have the resources, you can. But to not consider Africa, which is your birthright anyway, to renounce Africa and not consider Africa, which is your birthright anyway, and put together some type of African plan, you're failing yourself. I never said it was ADOS' fault. What I'm saying is the people who are complaining, the Black people, Black Americans who are complaining about the Chinese chief in northern Nigeria, that could be you. That could be you. You could be a chief. Again, if ADOS comes together and thinks internationally, puts their resources together, goes to anywhere in Africa and say, hey, look, this is what we have. This is what we're offering. This is what we contribute. This is what we can build together. We're descendants. We're Africa's children who were kidnapped, stole, sold, whatever, taken away against our will. We want to return. And this is what we offer. This is how we can build together. Out of that group, they will find a representative or representatives and give you title as chief to represent the best interests, of ADOS and really the best interests of everybody. So you can sit at the table, at the bargaining table. It's like Black people, we don't want to sit at the table, but we want to complain. That's the problem. The Chinese want to sit at the table. The Lebanese want to sit at the table. White people want to sit at the table. Everybody wants to sit at the table but Black people, but we want to complain. Again, I would see. This is the thing. I was at the AU meeting yesterday here in Atlanta. I'm sorry, was it yesterday or Tuesday? I was at the African Union meeting in Atlanta on Tuesday. I was there. If you guys only, I wish you guys could have been there if you only knew what's coming down the pipeline. And I'm telling you, a lot of you guys are going to miss out because a lot of you want to be Captain Black Americans, which is fine. If you want to be a Captain Black American, by all means, go ahead. But I'm telling you, disconnecting yourself and renouncing the continent, you are a fool. Again, I understand that we are owed a debt by America, and not just America. There needs to be class action lawsuits against certain corporations. You have corporations, businesses that existed back then that are still around today that owe. New York Life, I think Wells Fargo, Chase Bank. Literally, who, if you were a slave owner, you could put an insurance policy on your slave. And that slave passed away, you got a check. So for the most part, all of these slave owners were getting reparations from these American corporations, these Western corporations. We need to go after them too. But we just can't have tunnel vision. You need to get what's owed here and establish yourself on the continent as well and reconnect back to the continent as well. And anybody that tells you not to do that is a fool. Again, you can't sit here and brag how you're the most successful Nigerian in America or in England or in France. Because it's not a win for Nigeria. That's a win for France, England, and the West. Lola, exactly. The Chinese are not waiting to get dual citizenship in Africa before building in Africa. African Americans are losing out big time. Thank you. I've been going back since 2011. You know, I didn't have my arms crossed and like, I'm never going to go back until I get dual citizenship. No, I kept going back, kept building relationships, kept meeting people. But some of you guys want to hustle backward. I ain't going to Africa until I get my dual citizenship. That's hustling backwards. Thank you. All the Ivy League schools were built off the slave trade. In fact, well, Georgetown's not an Ivy League school, but they're going to give reparations to the slaves who built Georgetown. But again, demanding citizenship before you even go, you're working backwards. You're moving backwards. You need to go establish the relationships, let them know that you're returning home, that this is your home, and this is how I want to better Africa. JP Morgan and Chase, I said Chase Bank, they owe. No, it's no. So it's $27. So each student has to pay $27 towards reparations. It's a start. I mean, Jesus, it's a start. That's backwards. I don't want to say hustling backwards is not a hustle, but you know what I mean. You're moving backwards. It's backwards. You want citizenship first before you even go visit the continent. Or you visit the continent once and then you want citizenship. Now, the people who are in the trenches and actually working and contributing, they deserve it. Absolutely. But if you're here in America, you've never been to the continent, you don't even have a passport, and you're demanding citizenship, no one's going to take you serious. Again, I've been going back and forth since 2011, documenting everything, speaking with as many people as possible. Telling them what my motives are, what I want to accomplish, what I can contribute, what we all can build together for everybody. I've been doing that since 2011. That's 8 years in the game, which isn't that long, but it's 8 years in the game. Being transparent, offering something of value, bringing something of value to the table. And then you have to build those relationships. I'm sorry, that's just the reality. Yes, I'll get upset and I'll get emotional sometime, but at the end of the day, I'm going back. I'll be back next month. When I have an emotional breakdown like I used to in the past, when I had them like I used to in the past, at the end of the day, I still disconnecting myself from Africa was never, it's not even an option. Never come out of my mouth. Renouncing my birthright never will happen. Search for who knows what he is saying. He's been in and out of Africa for years. He knows what he is saying. I'm telling you, Africa is your birthright. Why would you disconnect yourself from what's yours? You have every right to Africa as everyone who's been born on a continent, born in Africa. That's your birthright. So no matter what, no matter how frustrated I get, arguments I get into, disagreements, why would I renounce my birthright? Like some of you guys are doing. And that's the thing. You guys say, oh, well, Dynas, why we got to go back and beg? Why we got to go back and ask? You have no problem begging and asking, following the rules when it comes to white people here in America. But for some reason, if you're asked to prostrate in front of a traditional ruler in Africa, you got an issue with it. But you will beg, whine, cry, march, shout, scream, roll around in the dirt, get upset, throw fits, boycott, also that you can have a better position in America. But damn it, you don't even want to have a conversation with an African to build. You don't even want to open up the dialogue, like a real dialogue. But you want to get together and, let's dialogue and, with Donald Trump and Barack Obama and, these people that have with this politician, with that politician, these systems that have been completely rigged against you, that have proven to you that they want nothing to do with you, that want to treat you as second-class citizens, rig your real estate. The schools in your predominantly Black neighborhoods absolutely suck. keep you completely, shut you out of the market, the business market for years, still to this day. Discriminate against you when it comes to loans. Discriminate against you at their job. You go interview for a job that discriminate against you there. You build your own city, Tulsa, Oklahoma, Black Wall Street, they come and burn it. Like Amir Ross said, if you look at the pictures of Black men who were lynched, the majority of them were wearing suits because white people didn't want to compete. So if you were a Black business owner, they would literally drag you out of your business or out of your house and hang you in your business suit. You have no issue joining the military. I mean, think about it. You got ADOS bragging about how they fought in every single war. And what did you gain for fighting in every single war? Literally, Nazi Germany, Nazi Germany prisoners of war were treated better than Black soldiers who fought in World War II. After World War I think it was called Red Summer, you have Black troops who came back home who were literally hung and killed by white mobs in their military uniforms. As soon as you got home, off the bus, get over your boy. Vietnam, Persian Gulf. You come home, your communities are still crap. Please tell me what Black people have gained for fighting in all these wars. Red line out of the community. They build highways through Black communities to lower the property values and keep it and split them up. All this legislation is documented on what white people did to keep Black people marginalized. But damn it, I'm saying like, hey, let's go to Africa and build. Oh man, we can't do that. Sure, we can't do that. Hell no, we can't do that. That's all I'm saying. Guys, let's hit this like button. Get the likes up. That's what I'm saying. Yes, America has a debt to be paid to Black people. But to sit here and disconnect yourself from Africa, you're out of your mind. Because okay, you get your check, you'll get your check, you'll get your check, reparation check, you'll get it. Okay, say you get it. Now you're just gonna be niggas. We're gonna be niggas with reparations, like NWA, niggas with attitude. You're just gonna be niggas with reparation. Like Kanye West said. Kanye West in one of his songs, a Black man drives a Benz, but to a white person, you're just a nigga in a coupe. Hold on, let me find that lyric real quick. Hold on, real quick. Let me find this lyric real quick. All falls down. Oh, I gotta find it. Even if you in a Benz, you still a nigga in a coupe. That's what it is. I'm just saying. So it makes no sense. The whole grudge match. Are there African coons? Absolutely. Did the Africans sell us out? Absolutely. I'm not gonna sugarcoat that like some people do. Man, you know, were there tribes that sold us? Absolutely. I would be lying. I would be lying. But for me to sit here, when I hear people sit here and say that they would rather negotiate and sit at the table and beg white people, but for some reason, you know, I'm not those Africans. I'm not going over that. No, this is form of self-hate. There you go, cooning for crumbs. Again, Africa is your birthright, period. So the same way you want to negotiate with the U.S. government after all the hangings, lynchings, castrations, again, you serve in the military, you brag about serving in every war in America, from the American Revolution to Afghanistan, still treated like a second-class citizen. Well, with 13% of the population make up what 50% of the prison population. Schools suck. Real estate is rigged. Home values suck. I've already reached out to Tone Talk, Sam and Yvette. They never responded. Everything is rigged against you here in America. Yeah, you'll get a trinket here and there, you know, a nice house, nice car, but you're in debt. You know, they'll put Beyonce and Oprah Winfrey out and some athletes in front of you to, well, you know, you could attain to be this one day. You can be an entertainer, entertain you. Then you got people like Oprah who's absolutely full of it. But then when it's time to have a conversation with Africans in Africa, all of a sudden you can't do it. You can't do it because you just can't do it. But then you want to get mad why the Chinese man is made a chief. I mean, you have nothing to lose. Because the amount of time and energy we're putting in the pipe dream, even though I think something is going to come from this whole reparations movement, I think something's going to come from it. But you have the time and energy to put into this pipe dream and to continue to complain for 400 years. Then once you get a check, you're going to spend it right here in this infrastructure. Let me tell you how this works. So you get the majority of you. You get you get your reparations check. There you go. We're third class because thank you, Chima. Black people now, we're third class citizens in the country we've built, you know, the country we fought in every war since the inception of this country. We're here before all these immigrants. We're now third class citizens. But they're more concerned about the illegal immigrants coming from Central America than they are you now. Don't believe me? Go to LA, go to California. So I'm sorry, I apologize. We're now third class citizens here. So you're third class citizens bragging about all your degrees and all the debt you're in to get the degrees. You've been redlined, property values are rigged on purpose. Doesn't matter if you're in a predominantly Black exclusive subdivision and all your neighbors are doctors, lawyers, Harvard grads, PhDs, your property values are still shit. Everything is completely rigged against you. But for some reason, when it's time just to go, hey, look, let's come to the table. This is what we can do, Africa. This is what we have. We want to return home. This is our birthright. We left here against our will, but this is what we want. Y'all don't want to have that conversation. I'm going to take a call. Who wants to hop on? So that's why people who are upset at the Chinese man being made chief in Nigeria, and I understand, I'm upset as well. But that could be you. Black Americans don't have resources. I'm not buying into the Yvette Carnell misery merchantism. I'm not buying into it. I'm not buying into it at all. I'm not buying into it. I live in Atlanta. I see Black people with money. I'm not saying we're all rich. Thank you, Monifa, for the super chat. Monifa, make sure you get your ticket soon, too. Everybody, Monifa's coming to Nigeria with us in August. Monifa, make sure you get your ticket soon before the prices go up. In fact, I'm going to send a reminder email out to everybody. In fact, oh, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to make sure you guys get a reminder email to make sure if you have any questions, just call me. You got my cell phone number. So yeah, that's your birthright. Yes, I'm a chief in Ife and I'm a prince in Orua. And you guys can have the same. Oh, thank you, Ikafima. Thank you. Eshu, Ashe. You guys can have the same. Every one of you. I got some of these ADOS trolls hating on me. And my thing is, if a man who's successful, this is what I've learned. Anybody who's successful, no matter what it is, no matter what field, whatever, instead of hating, just ask him how he became successful. What did he do? You know, I learned that in sales. When I was at my past company that I left, when I was having issues when I first started off, I found the most successful sales reps. And I would shadow them. Just to find out what they did. What's the secret? And then I became successful. That's all you got to do. Again, this is the thing. I'm not attacking Cornell or Tone Talks. I agree with a lot of what they say. So I'm not going to be a hater and completely just renounce Yvette and Tone Talks. I agree with a lot of what they say. You know, a lot of people are trying to treat Tone Talks, Antonio Moore and Yvette as they're just babbling idiots. They're not. Tone Talks and Yvette are very intelligent. And since you guys like to talk about degrees, I mean, they're highly educated. I disagree with some of what they say. And the major point I disagree with is what is the end game for ADOS? Because if you're trying to tell me that the same system that has marginalized you for over 400 years, that they give you a check that you're going to invest in that same system or demand that you get a better position in that same system, that's where I disagree. Like I said, I'm taking my check and I'm straight to Africa. Maybe leave some here in America, but my focus is going to be over there. The majority of my focus is going to be over there. The end game should be, look, this is the amount that is owed to us. Give me my check. And if you're serious, do not put that money back into this system. Kelsey Tyler, reparations have to be generational, Dinas, and not just a one-time payment. But this is the problem. You're still, even with the reparations check, you're not going to fix the systematic issues here in America that's been going on for 400 years. That's my thing. Just get your check, get it how you live. I have lived in Los Angeles, and Hispanics are hostile to blacks and are often rude, even when you are being polite. So please stop making excuses for other ethnicities. Like I said, they have great points. Yvette and Tone have great points. I'm not going to hate and say they don't. It's just you're not going to agree with 100% of what everybody says. One person says you're not. That's just the truth. But again, the end game, I don't agree with. The same society that's marginalized you, you just want to, I guess, try to get a better position in it. I don't know. I just like to see more. I want to hear the end game. I've heard it, and I'm not impressed with the end game. All right, guys, if you guys want to call in, here's my email. Send me email. But again, those who are upset at the Chinese man being made chief in Nigeria, that can easily be you if you come and bring something to the table, if you're willing to build. And for those who are like, oh, why I gotta come to Africa and help build? Why I gotta come and help build? I shouldn't have to do that. You're doing the shit here in America anyway. You're sitting here building up the infrastructure of the same system that's marginalized you for 400 years, but you don't want to help build your birthright? That's how I look at it. That's why it just doesn't make any sense to me. Let me check my email. See what we got here. Who wants to hop on? Shoot me an email if you want to hop on. True, Black Americans have never been a monolith. Absolutely. Well, you know what? I disagree. I'm going to tell you why I disagree. Well, 85% of Black people vote Democrat? That sounds like a monolith to me. No. This is the issue. I want everyone to be successful wherever they're at. But my thing is, if you're, I operate under the under what Booker T. Washington said, right? So Booker T. Washington came up with the Tuskegee model or Tuskegee method. All right, he implemented the Tuskegee method at the university which he helped found, which is Tuskegee University. Shout out to Gregory Wyatt. I'm gonna read your super chat here in a second. Right? The Tuskegee method was in place to make sure that Black people were completely self-sufficient and not dependent on racist white America. Booker T. Washington wanted to implement the Tuskegee method all across Africa. So what Booker T. Washington would do, he would bring foreign exchange students from Africa to attend Tuskegee University under the condition that we will develop you, we will teach you all of the skills here at Tuskegee University. But you need to take those skills and return back to Africa and help build Africa. Shout out to Dr. Tyreen Wright, her book, Booker T. Washington, The Making of a Pan-Africanist. You guys have to get that book. I think she re-released it. So again, the condition was we will bring you over, teach you everything you need to know. All right, we've been sitting here under white supremacy. You know, we have the skills. I mean, we have everything you need to know. But under the condition that you return back to Africa and help build your country. You will not stay here in America. You will go back and help build up Africa. That's why when I hear immigrants, Nigerian immigrants, bragging about how successful they are in America, and they're not contributing anything back to Nigeria, That's where I disagree. I don't care. Go to Harvard, go to Yale, tap into our infrastructure, learn everything you can, but take that back to Nigeria and help build Nigeria. If you're not doing that, then me and you aren't on the same page. But instead, you're complaining about how the West destabilizes Nigeria, how the West is destabilizing Africa. But you're here building up the infrastructure of the West. And at the same time, complaining about how the Chinese, are building up the infrastructure of Africa and these bad deals these African leaders are getting into. But you're building up the infrastructure of America, the West, instead of building up the infrastructure of Africa. That's all I'm saying. Here we go. Okay, let's see here. Modi Datu Olawukeri. I'm about to send you the link. You're Nigerian. Let me send you the link. I'm about to send you the link right now. Let me see the link real quick. And myself included, I'm just as guilty. So before I start pointing fingers, I have to point the finger at myself as well. I'm just as guilty. I'm still here in America, but I'm making sure I'm putting that money back into Nigeria. Making sure of it. All right, Modi Natu Olowokukeri. I just sent you the link. Click on the link. Hop on. Let me read Gregory Wyatt's chat real quick. Super chat. Shout out to Brother Gregory. I think Brother Gregory already bought his ticket. But Brother Gregory is coming to Nigeria with us in August as well. Not every Black American will prove emotionally suitable to repatriate. You disqualify yourself from escaping the corporate plantation when you refuse to embrace your actual birthright and explore your options. I agree. I agree. I completely agree. Guys, let's hit that like button as well. All right, Modi Natu, hit the link. I just emailed you. Lakeem Muhammad, thank you for the super chat. But at the same time, this is why I'm upset about the Chinese man this is why I'm upset on how any non-African is given a chieftaincy title in Africa, especially a Chinese man. Because as an African, when you go to China, they're not going to reciprocate that to you. They're not going to allow you to compete in the marketplace. Yeah, you might have your own little shack selling goods on a street corner in China. But they're not going to allow you to compete in the marketplace. They damn hell would freeze over before they allowed you to become some type of chief or, I don't know, mayor or king or give you a traditional title. So that's my problem with this. The Chinese are not going to reciprocate to the African when the African's in China. Same thing with India. Same thing with all these, pretty much every other country on the planet. The African is not respected, period. My Nigerian brother, we're waiting on you. I sent you the link. Where you at? Modi Natu. I sent you the link. We're waiting on you. Trust me, you Africans go to Lebanon. You Africans go to Lebanon, they're going to treat you like shit. we're treated like shit all over the planet. They don't reciprocate. How nice we treat them and allow them to operate and conduct business in Africa, we're not allowed to be in the marketplace in any of the other places. India, China, Europe. It's not going to happen. You say ADOS have birthrights in Africa, but the fact is ADOS birthplace is in America. And why should ADOS be bullied and insulted and wanting to stay in America by choice without hate or for fear? Oh, nobody's bullying you. Nobody bullying you. Stay in America. Build America. No one's bullying you. Come on. No one's bullying you. I'm just saying that you're a fool for not here. It's not linking for some reason. Modi Natsu, you need to click on the link or open up Google Chrome. So hold on, we're about to bring somebody else on, but click on the link in Google Chrome. So open up Google Chrome and click on the link. Or download Google Hangouts. So you got to do that or download Google Hangouts. But let's bring somebody else on. All right, let's who else we got in the email? All right. All right, Mama Nisi, I'm about to send you the link. Nisi Mosley. I just sent you the link. Nisi Mosley. And that's another thing too. Guys, the North Nigeria, they're Muslim. Islam is an Arab religion. So you have black Arab for the most part, making a Chinese man into a Chinese Arab. I mean, for the most part, North Nigeria is predominantly Muslim. Islam is an Arab religion. All right, so Nisi, I sent you the link. I'm waiting for you to come on. I'll give you like another minute. Punchlines and polyism. Thank you so much. So again, Islam is an Arab religion. So yeah, I mean, the Chinese man is made chief, but Islam is not a traditional African religion. That is why are so-called Pan-Africanists insulting successful Africans like Nigerians over the littlest things by hyping up white-controlled countries like SA, South Africa, Cameroon, Kenya, etc. I don't understand your question. Money talks in the North is some of the poorest people by that's true. North Nigeria is very poor.
Hello.
Hey, you made it.
I made it.
Okay, how are you?
I'm good. I really enjoy your channel. I just wanted to put that out there first and foremost because I'm very interested in, returning back home to Africa. But my main concern is the language barrier. Which language do you think or suggest that we should start, attempting to learn before we make this journey?
Well, it depends on where you want to go.
Okay, so I guess that's a vague answer. And as far as the Chinese chief, it's really upsetting because, like you said, in any other place, they're not going to allow us to do the things that we allow them to do. And it's like after time and after time, history's shown us to this day, they've shown us, they're really not in our interest. And anything they do over there, I'm pretty sure, is to build their own dynasty over there. It's nothing to do with improving the African culture or, whatever the case may be. And it's like, our downfall, and I don't want to say a downfall, but it's like we're too nice. And then it's like, that's us innately, but should we go vulgar like them, and fight with the fight? Because being nice clearly is not helping us.
Well, like I said, I think the big thing is we just need more of us going over there and contributing and starting to build and, getting your passport. You have a passport?
Yes.
Okay, good. That's a start. So again, it's all about going over there and building these relationships as a block.
Okay.
That's what's important.
Right. I agree, because I was reading a long time ago in ancient Kemet, it really started when the men and the women went against each other, and then the women were exiled, you know what I'm saying, out of Egypt, and it was just a whole broken family. And it seems like since then they have been, just benefiting off of our divide, basically. So I totally agree. We need to come together. But I just really feel like there should be some workshops in America first, because it's like 80% of us is, we still have the divided mindset, I should say.
I would say 95% probably. Yeah.
No,
I would say 95%.
But I agree. It's really
but as far as language, you just have to figure out which country you want to go to. But you have the English speaking countries and then the francophone countries. So Nigeria, Ghana, East Africa, Kenya, Uganda. Then you have South Africa, you have Namibia. So you have a block of English speaking countries that you can start off with. And then once you get there, you just have to decide, which tribe you want to integrate to or closely linked to. And that's how you can figure out which local language you want to learn.
Okay. And the last thing, I do feel like we are indigenous to all over the world. We may have all migrated out of Africa initially, but we were in every land first. So as far as us retreating back to Africa, where we already have the Chinese setting up governments and all of this, that, and the third, do you think maybe it might turn into the same thing?
What do you mean turn to what same thing? What do you mean?
Like it is here, like we're in the country, but we have no say so, pretty much, although it was our country initially, if that makes sense.
I'm going to say these are the two options for Black people. Either you're not going to be able to fully integrate into America. That's not going to happen.
Okay.
But you can integrate into Africa, because at the end of the day, you're African.
Right.
So you either integrate or come together as a block and demand that you negotiate so you're able to get land to form a nation of your own. Those are the only two options.
Right.
But trust me, it'd be more easier to integrate over there than it will be to integrate, obviously, over here.
Right. Okay. So, I totally agree. So I guess you
think about it. You get married to an African man, then so after a generation or two, for the most part, they're fully integrated. You have examples of, we did a story on James Churchill Vaughan, whose, I think, grandfather, Scorpius Vaughan, was sold into slavery here in America, who's told his family, he demanded that his family return back to Nigeria. All right, they didn't change their names. They're still Churchill Vaughan to this day. Okay. And they were able to integrate and are doing, and to this day, are very successful in Nigeria. So you have stories of Black Americans who were able to go back to Africa, integrate, and do very well. Right. But again, as far as not be able to integrate, it will be nowhere on a level like it is here in America. I wouldn't even worry about that.
Yeah, okay, that makes sense. And you know, I
or form a nation of your own. I mean, ask if you know, go to the AU or whoever, and discuss forming a nation of our own. Those are the only two options. But having problems integrating, it just no, it just depends. It depends which country you go to, and again too, the thing I tell Black people is when we go to these countries, we need to go to parts of these countries and cities where we can make an impact.
Right.
So,
Totally agree. You make a really, really, really good point.
Get your African husband and you're good.
Right. Okay. No, let me stop. But okay, yeah, that sounds great. At this point, as Black people, we just have to stop making excuses. No more excuses, more solutions. And like you said, the really only two options is begging and pleading over here, which we're not going to get, or making that transition. So I'll probably see you over there.
Okay, cool. All right, appreciate it.
Okay, thank you for
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right, let's see here. Just think, I'm about to send you the link. Let's see here. Just think, I'm about to send you the link right now. All right, just think, I just sent you the link. We'll give you a minute to hop on. Yeah, so just think, we're waiting on you. I just sent you the link. So yeah, so those are the options. Those are the options right there. Either we complain. Okay, yeah, I understand that the borders of Africa were drawn by Europeans. I get that. I get that. I understand, but we're past that point. So again, we call these Negro stalling tactics. I wish Brother Holub was here.
Hello?
Yeah, go ahead, brother. How you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing, man?
Doing well.
Yeah, I just wanted to just say a few things real quick. Hopefully, I don't know how much time I have or whatever. I don't know
brother, we don't want to see your mail. You want to turn the screen off. You turn the screen off. We don't want to see your mail. Your 12 and 24 hour.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
My bad. Yeah, my bad.
All right, go ahead.
I don't even know. Low-key was trying to turn it off.
We see you now, so it's just a wrap. Go ahead.
Fuck it. No, what I was trying to say real quick was that I just 100% support everything that you're saying, and I really want people to start looking at it like it's like the logical way to kind of go about things, honestly. And I don't think there should be, there isn't going to be any issues integrating into Africa. People really have to understand is that everybody in Africa is Black already, right? So whatever barrier you're thinking about, I mean, I guess the only barrier that I could think of is the fact that, okay, they don't know who you are or whatever, but not really like an African isn't going to treat you the same way as they treat a white person. You know what I'm saying? So a lot of people worried about that kind of stuff. I feel like it's not that stressful. Me as a Nigerian, the son of a Nigerian immigrant, I've been to Nigeria many times. Many times I've gone there with Black Americans, and it's normal. We go to happy hour. We do a lot of the same stuff that we do out here, and it just makes more sense to just not ignore your birthright. Like, Africa has so many resources. 7 out of the 10 fastest growing economies are in Africa. There's so much opportunity. Like you talked about today, the Chinese are over there heavily. So why not be a part of that growth? Why not be a part of that story? Like, there's literally people going back and building cities, building buildings, creating infrastructure, going into media, going into so many different aspects of Africa's economy that it just makes sense for you to be a part of it instead of just kind of waiting here. And one thing I will say is, another thing too is just us as Black people, we need to stop disagreeing. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
publicly.
Well, the thing is, we're not monolithic, so we're going to disagree, but we need to focus on what we agree on.
This is what I'm going to say too in response to that. I feel like if I'm just going to give you the most radical example, right? A black Republican or some super ultra black dude, and he's on horses, whatever, some super ultra conservative. If he opens his mouth and he's like, dude, I'm trying to help black people, why are we arguing him into submission to make him a Democrat or to make him like us or whatever?
Exactly.
Let that motherfucker do what the fuck he wants to do. If he feels like, oh, excuse my language, sorry. Let that dude do what he wants to do. If that's what he wants to do, let him do that. Too many times, and it's really embarrassing when, I turn on the TV and it's like, man, all these white people are literally just seeing our dysfunction on TV, us arguing, us disagreeing. We need to keep a lot of these disagreements underground and then come out as one force. Okay, you group of black people, you're going to focus on the conservative people. You group of black people, you're going to focus on trying to do the whole political thing with the Democrats. You group of black people, we need to be going over there and creating international relations with Africans on the continent and taking advantage of those resources and helping our cause. It should be the us rising, us elevating ourselves, honestly, is a holistic thing. There is not going to be one approach that's going to work. You're definitely going to need black people still here in America interacting with a lot of these politicians because America is the most powerful force here. So working with them, even how futile, I even kind of think of it as futile, but at the end of the day, let them do that. If they feel like it's helping, that's fine. It's also very, very logical for us to think about Africa like I alluded to earlier. It makes so much sense. It makes all the sense to be out there, to own land. In America, you own land, you don't own it. Property tax, they could take it away from you. In Africa, you're good. So I just feel like we just all need to stop all this bickering and stuff and just kind of work together, because at the end of the day, we're all fighting the same enemy, racism, white supremacy. You may have your own method of fighting it. I may have my own method of fighting it. Let's just not get in each other's way, and let's just all kind of work together to uplift each other. Because those people who are in America thinking that they're just going to do all this, ask for all this reparation stuff, which you have every right to ask for and do, they're going to come around. Africa's economy is not going to stop growing. People like me and more people are going to go back to Africa and we're going to Snapchat and we're going to show how much fun we're having, So eventually they're going to come around and be like, hey, okay, well, shit. I have people ask me that shit all the time. Chuka, when's the next time you going back to Lagos? I'm like, come on. People already see that this is where people, the future is going to be. The future is Africa. And one more thing I have to say too about the whole Chinese thing, and I'm gonna get off. I feel like I'm rambling.
Go ahead.
You might disagree. A lot of people might disagree, and I'm just speaking from a Nigerian perspective. I'm not speaking from the whole continent perspective. The Chinese in Africa aren't taking over in Nigeria.
But see, listen, but I've told people, Nigeria,
it's going to be very difficult for Chinese people to overthrow Igbos, and that's going to be difficult.
This is what I told people. I keep telling people.
Realistically, and the thing about it, there's a book that everybody should read too called, where's that book at? There's a book that everybody, I left the shit at work. It's called like The Rise of African Capital, The Development of African Capital, or some shit. Mm-hmm. It basically outlines the development of when I mean African capital, I mean like African businesses, African capital development, indigenous African capital development. It's a book that basically outlines it from the beginning of Nigerian colonialism up until like the 80s or 90s or something. And if you read that book, you'll see that Nigerians, mostly Igbos, have been dealing with the Far East since the 40s. We've been dealing with these people for years. So even if you go to Shenzhen, Guangzhou, all these places in China, you're going to see African communities.
Yeah, but this is my issue. If I can interrupt, this is my issue.
No, you got it.
This is my issue. I understand that Africans are in China, but it's just the way Chinese are treated in Africa is not being reciprocated when Africans go to China, anywhere in the world. That's the problem I have.
I feel you. One thing I will say is, after colonialism, all these chieftaincy titles don't really mean shit, honestly. Just to be real, like they give a lot. There's some chieftaincy titles that mean something, and then there's some chieftaincy titles that are just like a fucking award or ceremony bullshit. Like it's not that
I'll
deep.
say this. I'll say this. It depends.
So there has to be a differentiation. They used to mean stuff pre-slavery, before all this bullshit happened to us, but nowadays there's some that are important, but then there's a lot that they be giving motherfuckers chieftaincy titles like it's water out there, honestly. So people shouldn't be too offended by that Chinese dude getting some chieftaincy title, because the title itself that he got isn't like a representative of the culture. Like I said, there's levels to these titles that they give people, or these chieftaincy whatever. There's levels to it, but the Chinese, man, it's just in Nigeria specific. Again, I'm speaking about Nigeria. I'm not speaking about Namibia or some of the other countries. Of course, their situation might be a lot worse, but from a Nigerian perspective, there's Indians, there's all kinds of people out there that are in Nigeria trying to make money. You know what I'm saying? Doing business, whatever. It's just about competing. I mean, it's just about competing. Nigerians are known to be very, very good business people, so, and then on top of that, the whole Chinese thing, to me, honestly, we have to really start thinking about a revolution. I don't want to sound too radical or whatever, but we honestly need to really think deep about starting like a revolution, like what happened in Sudan or whatever, because the issue is not really the Chinese people coming into Africa, because they're going to come. The issue is with our fucking leaders, man. It's the issues with our leaders. The leaders are trash, and they've been there since the colonial people installed them there, and they haven't left. And they're the ones that are representing us whenever we interact with these Chinese nationals and Chinese officials and Chinese entrepreneurs. They're interacting with the government first, and not interacting with the actual people on the ground. They turn off a lot of Black Americans that want to come. A lot of Black Americans, their big issue is, oh, well, where's our citizenship? Where's our passport? Where's this or that? That's the government. That's not the actual people on ground. So what really needs to happen from our end is that we need to fix this government thing and just start all these revolutions. I mean, if it has to get bloody, it has to get bloody. If it has to, we have to advance. We have to move forward. My bad. I'm not trying to get I'm not trying to get too radical.
Little too much information online.
My bad. But you know what I'm trying to say. The overall point is that we need to really fix the political situation on our continent if we really want to take advantage of all this. But I really appreciate you, man. Stay up, man. Say it, man. My bad. Say it.
No. You're good. But what was I going to say? Yeah, as far as the chieftaincy title, it just depends which tribe and
Yeah, it depends.
But with the Chinese guy, he's just he's just standing in representation of the Chinese. But again, the people who are upset, that could be you if you put your resources together and offer something of value and help build Africa.
Exactly. And a lot of people are already doing it. I read something the other day when there's 5,000 African Americans living in Ghana, if not more, so there's people already moving. So be a part of that process and build something that is truly yours. Like Africa is yours, to the Black American, to the person in the Caribbean, it's literally yours. You have the oil. That's your oil. That's your copper. That's your whatever mineral you want to think of. That's yours. You can literally go out there, and it don't have to be big scale. It don't have to be something that's so big. That's another thing I wanted to say, and I'm gonna hop off. It don't have to be big, man. You can start something as small as a little fishery. Sell fish, sell baked fish. You can start selling makeup. You can start, people think it has to be some like, oh, I'm about to build a whole city. Man, you could. Africa, people need to change their mindset about Africa. Africa is just a normal place, just like Asia, just like anywhere else. You can go and do whatever, just connect and network with the right people. You'll be fine. My bad. You were trying to say something?
No, what I'm saying is, and you're absolutely right. And that's why I'm trying to encourage Black Americans when they go to Africa, go somewhere where you can make an impact. Because you're not going to be able to have a small fishery in the middle of downtown Accra or in Accra, Ghana. I mean, if you have limited resources, but you could go further out, like Kumasi or up that way. Same thing in Nigeria. It might make more sense to do something in Osun State or showboat versus just focusing on Legos. I know a lot of times we just want to arrive at the shout out to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I know a lot of times we just focus on going to the big major city. But venture out to the countryside or the more rural areas, and help build. Success is out that way too. But brother, thank you so much for joining.
Appreciate it. No problem, man. Appreciate it.
All right, peace. All right, let's see here. Who am I going to send a link to now? Shout out to O'Shea. All right, Great African. I'm about to see the link right now. Great African, just sent the link. We'll give you a minute to get on. Just sent the link to Great African. But yeah. All right, hold on. Let me address this Negro stalling tactic in the chat room. Hold on. Listen, okay, Dynas, this ain't the Negro stalling tactic, but Dynas, bro, your face skin looks clearer. You've been using skincare products. No, I haven't. I use soap, water, drink a lot of water, and I'll work out. That's it, really. Drink a lot. I try to drink a lot. In fact, let me take a gulp right now. I've been slacking on my water drinking, but somebody in the chat room said, how can Africa be ours? Said, how can Africa be ours if the Chinese or Indians are in Africa? But what do you own here in America? That's the thing. Like, what after you built America, free labor, what do you have to show for it? Do I need to show the statistics? That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying you have to renounce your citizenship here in America, but I'm saying if you don't have an African plan, you're playing yourself. That's all I'm saying. Adewale, Mowo Dada, Kilon Chalet. That's all I'm saying. Is Amara in the chat room? Oh, yeah, is Amara in the chat room? Well, that's what I'm saying, Amara. As long as you speak Kenya, is an English-speaking country, so. Great African, I sent you the link. I'm trying to get in. Okay, hold on. Let's hey, Adewale, you want to come into the chat? Adewale, are you free to come on? Adewale, if you want to come on, let me know. Daniel Adu, big ups, brother. I'm Nigerian and proud you waking people up. Thank you. Thank you, brother. All right, Adewale, I'm sending you the link right now. Adewale, I just sent the link. Adewale, I just sent the link. Let's see, we belong to the whole planet and not limited to just Africa. We are the original peoples, period, on this planet. Okay, here we go. As my brother, I guess, Muhammad, you are part of the NOI? Are you Nation of Islam? Adewale, I just sent you the link. All right, here we go. In the words of Khalid Muhammad, the planet is our kingdom and Africa is our throne. Again, the planet is our kingdom and Africa is our throne. So, Adewale, that's you?
No, this is Madina too.
Hey, how you doing? Oh, you finally got on. Adewale, let Modinatu, my Nigerian sister, you finally got on.
How are you, brother?
Bawoni.
Bawoni. So I am a Yoruba woman, right?
Okay.
So I was born in Chicago.
Okay.
Raised in Nigeria.
Okay.
And the conversation we're having is extremely important.
That's cool. Alawali's Nigerian too. He's in Canada, so he's on. But go ahead, sister.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm good. Yeah.
How are you? It is no longer acceptable to be ignorant. Right? Most especially for those of us that call ourselves Nigerians. Right? I just came back from Nigeria. My dad passed away, and I went for the burial. And this conversation that you guys are having, I've been having it with everywhere I go, everywhere I show up, I discuss. It is time to go back. In fact, I have my sister and my older brother that were supposed to come to the US, and I can't see them.
Well, that's some background noise. Is that?
No, that I believe that's from my mother. So I have my sister that was supposed to come to the US. They offered them their visa, and I canceled the paper because I think it will be hypocritical of me. I will be an hypocrite to tell people to stay back, and then I'm still bringing my family here.
Brother, sister, do me a favor. There was some background noise. If you could kind of start from the where you thought when you brought up how important this conversation is we're having. Can you start from there?
Yes, I said the conversation you are having right now, I've been having it for years. And one of the things I have decided to do, though I was born here, I had another sister that was born here. I brought 2 of my siblings here. And as of 2015, I started having second thoughts. And that second thought is, I don't think it is acceptable for all of us to leave Nigeria and show up here. Because as we leave, other groups are going there.
Right.
You have the Chinese are showing up. You have all kinds of whiteness are over there.
Right.
Now, and they are doing things in Nigeria that even you are not able to do here. And I take an exception, and I mean extreme exception, to anybody Chinese showing up in Nigeria to set up any kind of shop without us monitoring them, following them, checking up on them, and making sure they do not have a land in that country. I don't care. You can lease. I'm saying we should not allow anybody other than Africans. I mean, when I'm saying Africans, I mean Black people.
Yes.
You understand what I mean? And I wanted to say something that Black people in this country should not be offended. That when you meet an African say, I'm an African, I'm not Black, you should not be offended.
Go into detail. Why?
Because they've never heard that they are Black before.
Okay.
Because you are ascribing color to people for something. People know they are Black, but it is not something that I'm going around saying I am Black. You understand what I mean? I know that I am African. So, because I've heard some of the things, because I listen to Tariq Nasheed and even Yvette Canel, people like that, and I noticed some of their conversation that they will say that they mean an African, and the African said I'm not Black. It's because I didn't know I was Black until I show up here. When I have to fill out an application and say, are you Black or white? Immediately I can see the discrimination. I said, if you are asking me if I'm Black, that means you are asking in order for you to eliminate me from the application. That's it. So I can see the racism right then and there. And from that moment on, I start monitoring this country. I start studying this country very well. I am not oblivious to what is going on, all the way to the criminal justice system. In fact, there is a reason why I did not go into policing. Because if I go to policing, I will have to go ahead and start, abusing my own people.
Thank you, sister. I'm going back next month.
Our mentality have to be different as Africans. That if you consider yourself Black, whether you are here or there, we are all one people. You understand what I mean? Whether you follow in their do's, I agree with some of the things that Tone Talk are talking about, but I do not agree with the idea that you want to remove yourself from the Africa diaspora. You don't want to do that. If you're studying the way the American is going now, if you study white people right now, they are going back to when they used to crawl on 4 legs. I promise you. They can no longer have babies like they used to, and they're going to get more violent. Our only recourse is every Black person must have a passport.
Yes.
Whether you exercise your right to travel or not, make sure you have a passport. Make sure you have a community that can monitor you. They know you where you're whereabouts. That is the most important thing, that even when you're traveling out of the country, let a few people know where you are. You should not just pack up your bag and go, because you can be made disappear anywhere. So the Black people here should know that everywhere in the world is yours.
Yes.
If you show up in Russia, it is your birthright. If you show up in Germany, it is your birthright. But for the purpose of consolidating power, let us all show up in Africa right now.
There we go. Sister, repeat that again. You got to repeat that part again.
For the purpose of consolidating
No, start from the whole planet. Then you got to repeat that again.
The world is yours. The world is yours. We are the first people. You are the father and mother of civilization. The world is yours. Wherever you are, you belong there. But for the purpose of power, for the purpose of unity, for the purpose of maybe we can start forgiving each other, let us all show up in Africa.
Cool.
That is it.
Sister, thank you so much for joining. And make sure you stay in touch with me too. Stay in touch with me.
Yeah, by God's grace, I'll be going to Africa again next year.
Okay.
So I wanted to spend a few months because I want my son to go there. I want to introduce my son to a couple of African countries. All of us, we need to start having the mind of going back. And think of where they're teaching pedophilia now in schools. They're teaching sexuality.
Sick.
Hey, we can't suffer in this world. I believe in, I'm also a Muslim, and I believe in the year after. I believe we have to recount for. I refuse to go to hell after suffering here. So for the purpose of that, I'm completely opposed to homosexuality, because homosexuality is genocide, period. The only way our children can be saved, consolidate power, consolidate unity. A lot of someone like yourself, Danais, you have to go to Nigeria, gather a group of young men and start teaching them some of the things that we need to know, because our people are ignorant. They don't know what is going on. Everybody get on YouTube, but they are watching Facebook and other nonsense.
Right.
You understand? There is a lot we need to start taking care of, and I wish you well.
Thank you. I received that.
So for anybody that can hear your voice, I consider all Black people my brothers and sisters, because it is most likely that though you might have been taken, kidnapped, it is possible that you might be my own direct family member.
Facts.
We should not see each other. When you see another Black person, let us look at each other with forgiveness. Please. It is absolutely important. I love you all.
Love you too, sister.
I'll talk to you today.
Okay, love you too. Stay in contact with me. I have my email. Stay in contact with me.
For sure.
Okay. All right, bye-bye. All right, let me get Auto Wallet back up. Dang, Auto Wallet, I had muted you because of the background noise. Now I can't unmute you. Hold on. Hold on 1 second. Because of the background noise. Oh, there we go. Go ahead.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
When you move your phone or your device, there's a lot of background noise.
Oh, sorry about that.
Okay, we're good now. Yeah, it's better now.
Okay.
You gotta stand still.
Okay.
Okay, all right, go ahead.
I just seen your topic, talking about.
Hold on 1 second. So guys, we have 345 people watching, only 210 likes. Please hit that like button, okay? Hit that like button. All right, go ahead, Wally.
Yeah, I was looking at the topic of today, which is a Chinese guy made a chief in Nigeria. Man, that's disappointing as usual, Right. But at the same time, some of these chieftaincy titles, they don't hold too much weight, right? It's the guy is probably just respected by people in the people that put him in that position. They are probably the only ones that respect it. Not.
Hey, Otto, your sound is going in and out. Like.
Is it better now?
That's better. Go ahead.
Oh, sorry about that.
No problem.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is the Chinese guy that was put, or the Chinese people, it's not the first time that kind of stuff is happening.
Mm-hmm.
But to me personally, I have zero respect for him. Even if he's a chief, if he has the feather thing in the hat, or is whatever part of the country that he was given the chieftaincy title, that doesn't change anything to me. I don't respect him anymore. He's just one of the few people taking advantage of sellouts in the country, right? Because I don't understand why people do anything for money. These Chinese people, they come in over and over again, claiming they're going to build railroad, electricity grid, different types of infrastructure, just so they can appeal to the people in authority. And then these people in authority, they put them at such high pedestal. It's ridiculous, man. But at the end of the day, I have no respect for him. And this is why what you're doing is great, Stylus, because the more you clamor for people to realize that they have rights. It's not about, oh, I was born in America, I'm an American citizen, I'm a descendant of slaves only. At the end of the day, the concept of citizenship is a Western concept. It's not, we in Africa, we don't really regard citizenship to that extent. If you're a national of Africa, if you're a Black person, sorry, I don't even like using the term Black. If you're a person of African descent, you're a national of Africa. It's different from being a citizen, regardless what part of the world you were born in. But as far as you have that melanin and you have the physical features, then you're a national of Africa. But if you're a citizen, that is just a concept that originated from the Western country to whatever purpose it is. Now we've adopted that same concept in African countries.
Hey, Adewale, your sound is like going in and out, in and out. I don't know what. I want people to hear this message.
Okay, maybe I should grab an earphone or something.
Okay. When you usually come out, what do you use?
I use either my phone or my PC, but right now I'm using my phone.
Okay. You want to hop on your PC?
Yeah, my PC is not too far off, actually.
Yeah, go hop on your PC, brother. Yeah, but everyone, thank you for joining. Make sure you hit that like button. Okay, hit that like button. Hit that like button. We have 333 people watching, 245 likes. Make sure you hit that. Make sure you hit that like button. But Nadoop, send me I emailed you, or Nadoop, email me. And I'll get you in contact with Sister Modinatu. That's a powerful sister. I need to stay in contact with her. Definitely need to stay in contact with that sister right there. East Afro dude, thank you for the super chat. Adewale is gonna end it. After Adewale gets off, I gotta eat lunch. I'm hungry. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm hungry, but I gotta eat.
Okay. I don't know if it's better now. Do you want me to continue or?
Oh, well, go ahead and continue. If it goes in and out, I'll let you know.
Okay. So I was just explaining some things that I read about citizenship and nationality. There is a huge difference. If you're a citizen, it's a concept that originated from the Western countries, right? Mm-hmm. So being a citizen of a country is just a bureaucratic stuff, an bureaucratic entity. But if you're a national, it has to do with your genotype, right? It has to do with your DNA and what you're entirely made of. So for Black people all over the world that are thinking, oh, I'm a citizen of so and so country, so I don't care about Africa, you're missing out on the big picture. You're missing out on your birthright.
All right.
So I mean, right now, what people need to do, like Africans in diaspora, because we really need Africans in diaspora at this point. Right. At this rate, the rate at which people like the Chinese, the Europeans, people from all over the world are invading, conquering, tricking our leaders and making them make irrational decisions, pretty much selling us out, shortchanging us all the time, constantly. We need Africans in diaspora to come back as much as possible. It's going to be a difficult task, without a doubt. I agree, right? But it's something that we need at this point in history because we are being decimated. Trust me. I mean, before we know what's happening, they're going to be teaching a Mandarin and Cantonese in Nigerian schools. That's going to be so, bro, I'm just going to puke if that happens.
Yeah. It's already happening in some parts of Africa.
It's already happening in some parts of Africa. And a lot of times, I'm speaking from a Nigerian's perspective. We think we're the most powerful country. To an extent, we are. But then we have a lot of leaders that are not competent. They can't say no to pale-skinned people. They just don't have the ability. Whenever they find pale-skinned people, they have nothing but not even respect. They worship these people, you know? Mm-hmm. So much so that these people slap us in the face. They do all types of stuff that is just unacceptable. And sometimes these people try to play with the system. They try to get a citizenship, which to me has no value. Because, like I said earlier, being a national has the utmost value than being a citizen. So as far as you have the phenotype of us, regardless what part of the world you were born in, you're a national and you need to come take advantage of what's going on there. There are so many countries that you can go into that the citizenship process is not as difficult as some other countries. Take advantage of that. Come to this African country, get a citizenship. By the time people come back in Rome, I mean, I'm not saying you should renounce your American citizenship, your Brazilian citizenship, your Caribbean citizenship, keep those citizenships. But come back to Africa, get another citizenship if possible, because by default, you're already a national, right? And then we can do something from there. Because to me, I get sick and tired of seeing stories like, oh, the Chinese come to so-and-so country, they are becoming chiefs, they are building police stations. Now, countries like Kenya, Uganda, they have to export majority of their goods through the ports that is mainly controlled by China. You know, so many disheartening stories. And me, even though I'm living in Canada right now, I've got to say, man, I miss home. I wish I could go back to Nigeria as soon as possible, but it's not possible right now for me to do that because I'm tied up. Like, it's a trap, honestly. Moving to this part of the world sometimes, it's actually a trap because before you know what's happening, you're in too deep. You're finding it difficult to leave. Right? So that's also.
Hey, I was gonna say, Adewale, your sound's going back in and out.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Yes, sir. So yeah, like I was saying, man, for me living in this country right now, I appreciate the privileges that I'm getting, but at the same time, I realize that no, this is not the best that I can be, right? I can do much better if I'm back on the soil, on the continent, right? But at the same time, we get trapped when we move to this part of the world. We don't really understand the system. Our first couple of years trying to navigate the system, we make mistakes that get us trapped into the system, right? So until we figure it out, learn how to, maximize the opportunity in this part of the world and in Africa, then we're going to be doing what we're doing. But then people need to take advantage of their nationality.
Absolutely. Lola in the chat room was asking, should Nigerians lead the way in regards to, uniting, Africans? I'm trying to find her exact, what she said exactly, but should Nigerians lead the way? Because to be honest, it's been more of a Black American thing. But should Nigerians be because Nigerians have the largest Black population Nigeria has the largest Black population on the planet. Even though Black Americans are more visible because of the media, Nigerians has the largest Black population on the planet. So should Nigerians lead the way when it comes to creating or bringing Black people together?
Honestly, what I think about that question is everybody should lead the way at the same time, because if we're depending on a group, a particular group to lead the way, then we're just going to be creating more hindrance to the success that we're trying to achieve. Because right now, I'm telling you for a fact, there are tons of Nigerians that would rather have Caucasians than African Americans being amongst them, because they just worship Caucasians. And the same thing applies to Black Americans. There are lots of Black Americans that once they find Africans, they're like, oh, these people live on trees. These people are retarded. So I don't want to have nothing to do with them. I'm a Hebrew Israelite. There are lots of people. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like I wouldn't say a particular group should lead. African Americans have an advantage in the sense that lots of African Americans they are exposed. I mean, you guys have been living in the Western world for hundreds of years. Right. You guys are the ones that have been in the epicenter of white supremacy. True. Of all the negative stuff that has been happening. We also get a ton of it in Africa, on the continent, but the difference is we don't get it directly. So we do not have a direct negative energy towards the people that are producing these negative results and negative effects on us. What we're doing is, what these people are doing is they are getting to us through our leader, our sellout leaders, right? Right. African Americans already understand that, okay, we're dealing with the problem directly, but we don't understand that concept yet. It's just a few of us that understand it. So both sides have advantages and disadvantages. So the best thing I can say is people from both sides need to, what's it called? Gather together and make moves together. We don't have to wait for one particular side. Honestly, it can even be from a smaller country like maybe Kenya. Even if Kenyans can do this, fine, let it be Kenyans. Even if it's Burundians that want to take the lead, let it be Burundians. It doesn't have to be African Americans or Nigerians.
All right, cool. Let me read some of these super chats. Fabian Parson, Dynasty, I agree that transitioning to Africa is necessary. What I'm curious about is how to protect what we built there from sabotage being a minority. I mean, that's a good question. Let's see here. What else we got here? I think that was, here we go. The Duke, thank you so much for the support. Oh, by the way, Adewale, so I have a Haitian sister named the Duke who was looking for a man. And she's been complimenting you, saying how hot you are. Are you married, Adewale? Are you married?
Yo, I'm married to a Nigerian sister, yo.
Dang, the Duke. Dang, sorry, the Duke. I promise you, Duke, we're going to find you a man, the Duke. We're going to find you one. Shout out to Keith Newsom for the super chat. And we got the other brother on, just hopped on. So, brother, go ahead. Great African, go ahead.
Okay. Hey, man, I had some technical difficulty. Can you hear me well?
I hear you well. Go ahead.
Excellent. So, yeah, I just want to do a little bit of contribution to the discussion regarding, first of all, the Chinese guy that was, given the title of chief and all of that. Like other people have said, some of these things are largely ceremonial and mean absolutely nothing. But the symbolism of it is bad, and I can see why it is an outrage to have a Chinese guy get a title of any kind in Africa, and he's not a black man. A lot of people talk about, how the African Americans do contribute. People talk about jobs, other things. Okay, so what you have to do is we need to organize economically.
And brother, I was gonna say there's a echo. We have an echo.
Okay. Is that a little better?
Just go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. So basically, for to have a realistic shot at moving to Africa or doing anything in Africa, you have to think of it in terms of business, from a business standpoint. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, it's just a pipe dream. So for myself personally, I'm a Liberian. I moved to this country when I was 12 years old. Okay. So I feel like I'm somewhat, I understand Black culture. I grew up in Milwaukee. Okay. But at the same time, very, very, very African. So I have business. I've invested $40,000 of my own money in business so that I can be sustained in Liberia. Okay, so that's the type of level you have to be on. I'm not interested in going to Liberia to get a government job or anything like that. I have a business, and it's almost to the point of being self-sustaining. So that's the type of stuff we have to do. But collectively, if you think about it, people who are like-minded, if you can put some money together as a group and find a business to do wherever you want to do it in Africa, that's what you have to do. But to think that, oh yeah, I'm going to go look for a job, that's just wishful thinking.
Right.
You're supposed to come in and create jobs. Okay.
Exactly. We talk about that on the show. So, brother, how can people reach out to you? And then Otto Wallet, we'll pass it back to you, and we'll go ahead and close out.
Okay, you talking to me?
Yeah. When people want to contact you, how can they reach out to you?
Oh, you can reach out to me. Yeah, you can reach out to me at seikidau@gmail.com. Okay, so seikidau@gmail.com. If people want to, we're open to, collaborating. We've done some things. I just came from Liberia last week, checking on some project. We're doing things in agriculture. Okay,
oh, wow.
So yeah, so basically, to understand the opportunity in Africa, you have to understand that 60% of the available unused agricultural land is in African continent. Okay, right. So as the world begins to grow, population grows, 60% of all that growth for people to have food is going to be in Africa. Okay, so I'm very passionate about that. For the simple fact that a lot of African leaders, and they're looking at Chinese to come in and actually develop the agricultural sector. But what we really need to do is do it ourselves. And it's a very, very low barrier to entry in it, and they can grow fast. So I'll give you an example. Rice. Okay, if you look at Liberia, our staple is rice. So as a matter of fact, during the so-called slave trade, our people were actually brought to this country to grow rice. So if you look at the entire coast of Georgia, if you look at South Carolina, we made South Carolina a wealthy colony because we brought rice to the United States. And today, the United States is the most productive cultivators of rice on the planet. Okay, they're most efficient, but that's something that we brought to the country. So now, as an example, right now Liberia is importing 80% of the rice that it consumes. So that's a huge opportunity for anybody that wants to get into business. You have to have the right contacts. Okay, realistic stuff. Don't think about going to Africa to open up, a boutique or nightclub. None of that stuff. You got to do nation building stuff where the guy who only makes $20 a month can't afford to buy, which is food. He has to eat. So that's just my contribution to that. And I think, if people want to get a hold of me to see how we can collaborate, I'm definitely open to that. And I also want to say that, obviously I'm biased, but I believe that Liberia is the best place, to consider. It's one of the best places to consider. It's underdeveloped and all of that, but it's one of the best places to consider. It's the only country that I'm aware of that you have to be a Black man to be a citizen of Liberia. So everyone else that's in Liberia,
I thought Way was changed that.
He wants to, but he can't change it. So he gave a speech about it, but it was basically shut down because it will require like a referendum where they will be put to vote for the entire population of the country. So the whole population will have to vote to change the constitution. But that's not going to change. It's not a popular thing. So basically, your birthright as African Americans is that if you go to Liberia, based on the fact that you are of quote unquote Negro descent, you have a right to citizenship. Okay. and you can buy, if you're white, you can't buy land in Liberia. Okay, can't be a citizen of Liberia. The Lebanese are lobbying hard, trying to change that.
Of course they are.
Time it gets shut down. Okay, so you know, there's been a lot of stuff out there about Liberia. I'm a patriotic Liberian. I'm also, yes, I'm an American citizen, but I am a Liberian. Okay, so but I believe that it's the best opportunity on the planet. It's an underpopulated country, lots and lots of land available. You can work with local people and actually have access to land in Liberia. Okay.
All right, brother. Hey, I got your email. Let's please stay in contact, man.
Okay. Yeah, let's stay in contact. I sent you an email and I came across your channel. I've been following you. I'm a fan. So thanks for having me on.
All right, thank you, brother. Anything you want to share in closing, and also let everybody know how they can contact you as well in your YouTube page.
I can drop my email in the chat.
Go ahead.
Yeah. Yeah, man, and I'm a huge boxing fan, you know, and I have a YouTube page that I talk about boxing. So if anyone is interested in the sport of boxing and you just want to listen to someone break it down, share his thoughts and opinions, feel free to subscribe to my channel. Like, I strictly talk about boxing these days, but as time goes on, I might transition and start talking about other things. And then I just want to thank you again, Dynas, man. You're a great guy. You're a great role model. Trust me, bro. Like, you're doing a great job. I appreciate it.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, you're doing a great job, bro. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
I appreciate it, brother. I appreciate it, man. So with that being said, everyone, thank you so much for joining us. Did you get your postcard yet?
No. I checked last night.
If it's not there by, today's Thursday, if it's not there by, I would say next Tuesday or Wednesday, please let me know.
Okay.
Yeah, it should be there today, though. But everyone, thank you so much for joining. Make sure you go to search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Like, share, and subscribe, everyone. Thank you so much for joining. Until next time, family, Dynas Amir, search for Uhuru. Peace.